You hear the click before you even see it. The cap twists, the seal breaks, and a sharp hiss escapes like a tiny firework. Instantly, that familiar scent hits you. Sweet, citrusy, and almost impossible to describe. Tiny bubbles race to the surface, colliding and bursting in a fizzing chorus. You raise the bottle to your lips, and in that first sip, it's all there. Sweetness, sharpness, and a sparkle that dances across your tongue. This is Coca-Cola, and for over 130 years, no one has truly managed to copy it. It's not just a drink, it's a global phenomenon. More than 1.9 billion servings are consumed every single day. Somewhere right now, whether it's in Cairo, Tokyo, or the middle of a small village in South America, someone is taking that same first sip you just imagined. The fascinating part? Every single one of those drinks tastes exactly the same. That's no coincidence. It's the result of an insanely controlled, obsessively perfected process. At the heart of this process is something almost mythical. Formula 7X. It's not just a recipe, it's the crown jewel of Coca-Cola, a secret so well guarded that it has become part of the brand's legend. The official story goes like this. The original handwritten formula is locked inside a high-security vault in Atlanta, Georgia. Only a handful of people know the full recipe, and those few aren't even allowed to travel together. If that sounds like something out of a spy thriller, that's because it basically is. Some of the ingredients are public knowledge. High-quality sugar, caramel color, caffeine, a dash of phosphoric acid. But the exact combination of natural flavors, oils, and extracts, that's where the mystery lies. This blend is what gives Coke its signature taste, the kind you can recognize instantly, even with your eyes closed. You could put 10 different colas in front of a fan, and they'd pick the Coke every time. Now imagine walking through the gates of a Coca-Cola bottling plant. The building itself is huge, part warehouse, part futuristic lab. The air smells faintly sweet, almost like warm caramel mixed with citrus peel. It's not overpowering, but it lingers, teasing your senses. Inside, the light is bright and sterile. Stainless steel gleams everywhere, and the floor is so spotless you can see your reflection. You start to hear it, the low hum of machinery, the rhythmic clink of glass bottles, the whoosh of conveyor belts moving thousands of containers in perfect unison. Workers in bright safety vests move with quiet efficiency, monitoring screens and checking gauges. This is where magic meets precision. Somewhere beyond the main floor, behind doors that require security clearance, lies the most important part of the process, the base syrup. This thick, concentrated liquid is the DNA of Coca-Cola. Every drop of Coke you've ever tasted started here. This syrup is made by combining refined sugar with that mysterious flavor blend in proportions measured down to fractions of a milliliter. Get it wrong, and the taste is off. Too sweet? It fails. Too flat. It fails. Coca-Cola can't afford to fail. The syrup is so potent that on its own, it's almost undrinkable. It's intensely sweet and powerful. Only when it meets perfectly purified water and the sparkle of carbon dioxide does it transform into the Coke we know. And here's the astonishing part. This process is duplicated in over 900 bottling facilities around the globe. Every plant has to follow the same standards so that a Coke in London tastes exactly like a Coke in Los Angeles. Think about that for a second. Billions of bottles and cans every year, made in hundreds of different locations, yet every one of them is indistinguishable in flavor. That's not just quality control, that's an obsession with perfection. The security around this process is no joke. Ingredients are tracked, deliveries are monitored, and mixing rooms are often off limits, even to most employees. In some plants, the flavor concentrate arrives in sealed containers and goes straight into the mixing tanks without ever being opened by hand. Cameras monitor the area, not for theft, but for secrecy. Standing here on the factory floor, you realize you're witnessing something few outsiders ever see. Conveyor belts stretch out like highways, transporting bottles toward the next step in the process. Some are glass, some are PET plastic, all moving in flawless formation. Giant stainless steel tanks tower overhead, each one filled with either purified water, base syrup, or carbon dioxide, waiting to be combined in the exact ratio. The sound of the machinery blends into a kind of industrial symphony, hisses, clinks, and the steady hum of precision engineering. And yet, for all the high-tech equipment, there's still something human here. Technicians walk the lines, checking temperatures, inspecting bottles for even the tiniest imperfections, and making sure every single Coke is worthy of the name. It's a reminder that behind the global brand, there's still a human touch ensuring that familiar fizz is just right. This is only the beginning. In the next stage, we'll dive into how those mountains of raw sugar are transformed into crystal clear syrup, the lifeblood of every Coca-Cola bottle on Earth. But for now, you've stepped behind the curtain and seen the beating heart of a legend. The recipe may be a secret, but the process? That's a story worth telling. Step inside the sugar storage area of a Coca-Cola plant, and you'll feel like you've just walked into a small mountain range made entirely of white crystals. Huge sacks, some taller than a person, are stacked in towering rows, each one holding hundreds of kilos of raw sugar. This is where the journey truly begins. Without sugar, there's no sweetness. Without sweetness, there's no Coca-Cola. But here's the thing, not all sugar is created equal. The sugar used for Coca-Cola has to meet insanely strict standards. Purity, grain size, moisture content, every detail matters. Imagine baking a cake where even one speck of the wrong ingredient could ruin the flavor. Now imagine doing that millions of times a day. That's the level of precision we're talking about here. The raw sugar arrives at the plant in massive shipments, often by truck or train. Before it even enters the main production area, it's tested in a quality control lab. Here, technicians in spotless white coats run a battery of tests to make sure every grain meets Coca-Cola's standards. If it doesn't, it's rejected. No second chances. Once the sugar passes inspection, it's time for the transformation. The sugar is poured into enormous stainless steel dissolving tanks, giant cylinders that could probably fit a small car inside. Hot, purified water is added, and industrial mixers begin to spin. Slowly, the sugar dissolves, turning the water into a thick, golden syrup. The room smells incredible at this point. Warm, sweet, and comforting, like a bakery in overdrive. But it's not just about taste, it's about clarity. Coca-Cola's sugar syrup has to be perfectly transparent, free of any impurities. That's where filtration comes in. The syrup is pumped through a series of fine filters that remove even the tiniest particles. What comes out on the other side is a crystal clear liquid that catches the light like liquid glass. This is the base sweetness, the foundation upon which the rest of the Coke magic will be built. Of course, this liquid gold is still missing something crucial, the flavor. But before we get there, the syrup is measured, cooled, and stored in massive insulated tanks. These tanks are sealed and monitored, with temperature and density checked constantly. Too warm, and the syrup could lose quality. Too cold, and it thickens too much to mix properly later. It's a balancing act that has to be perfect every single time. And remember that secret flavor blend, Formula 7X? In many bottling plants, it doesn't get mixed here. Instead, a concentrated version of that flavor arrives from a separate facility, sealed and labeled like a high-value package. In some cases, it's even transported with tracking devices, just to make sure it never gets lost or tampered with. Meanwhile, back in the sugar area, the machinery works like clockwork. Giant hoppers feed sugar into the tanks, pumps circulate the syrup, and sensors ensure that the ratio of sugar to water is flawless. Every drop is accounted for. It's an odd mix of brute force and delicate precision. Steel machines doing heavy lifting, guided by software that can detect a change in density smaller than a raindrop. By the time the sugar syrup is ready, it's been through a journey of its own. Tested, purified, transformed. On its own, it would taste delicious, but paired with Coca-Cola's signature flavor concentrate, that's when it becomes legendary. Now imagine walking past the storage tanks. The syrup is just sitting there, waiting. It's thick, it's sweet, and it's perfectly pure. Workers move around checking readouts on digital screens, making sure every batch matches the exact specifications. These specs are so tight that if you made Coca-Cola at home, even with the exact same ingredients, chances are it wouldn't taste right. That's how strict this process is. And this is only step 2. The sugar syrup you've seen here is about to be introduced to the star of the show, the flavor blend that turns sweet water into Coca-Cola. The combination will happen under watchful eyes in rooms where only authorized staff can enter. The air in those rooms smells like citrus, vanilla, and something you can't quite put your finger on. The stage is set. The syrup is ready. The flavor is ready. The next step? Bringing them together in a process so controlled it's almost a science experiment. Because in the world of Coca-Cola, every drop counts. Inside the mixing room, the air changes. The scent is unlike anything else. Bright citrus, warm vanilla, a hint of spice, and something undefinable. It's an aroma that somehow feels both familiar and completely unique. Massive stainless steel tanks stand ready, and the sugar syrup you saw earlier is pumped in. The flavor concentrate is added with almost surgical precision. Pumps measure it down to fractions of a milliliter. Too much, and the taste is overwhelming. Too little, and it loses its signature punch. As the concentrate swirls into the syrup, the entire mixture deepens in color, taking on that rich caramel brown that's instantly recognizable. Mixers begin to spin, and within minutes, the room smells like Coca-Cola in its purest form. Intense, uncarbonated, and unbottled. Technicians take samples and run them through taste tests and chemical analysis to ensure perfection. There's no close enough here. It's either Coke or it isn't. When the mixing is complete, the base Coca-Cola liquid, minus the fizz, is ready. This is the exact moment where the drink's unique identity is locked in. From here on, no other brand could ever truly copy it. The next stage will take this rich, flavorful liquid and bring it to life with the magic of carbonation. That's where the sparkle begins. The Coca-Cola-based liquid is ready. It's rich, sweet, and full of flavor, but at this point, it's flat. Imagine music without rhythm, fireworks without the explosion, or a joke without the punchline. It's good, but it's not Coke. Not yet. Carbonation is the game changer. It's the step where the drink transforms from tasty to legendary, and it's not as simple as just add bubbles. In Coca-Cola, carbonation is an art form backed by engineering so precise it borders on obsession. We start in the chilling section. Why? Because cold liquid absorbs carbon dioxide, CO2, much better than warm liquid. Massive cooling systems drop the temperature of the Coke base to near freezing, just above 0 degrees Celsius. Pipes hum quietly as the liquid flows through chilled coils, losing heat degree by degree. You can almost feel the air getting cooler as you walk past. Once perfectly chilled, the Coke base flows into pressurized carbonation tanks. Inside the tank, the process looks almost magical. Tiny streams of CO2 hiss into the liquid, dissolving instantly. The pressure inside is high, far higher than the air around us, forcing the gas deep into the drink. The result is millions of microscopic bubbles suspended in the Coke, invisible until the moment you release the pressure and they rush to escape. Technicians constantly monitor the pressure, temperature, and gas levels, making adjustments in real time. Computer systems track every batch, ensuring each drop meets the same standard. It's a dance between liquid, gas, and steel, timed to perfection. And here's something most people don't realize. Carbonation isn't just about texture, it changes the flavor. The CO2 reacts slightly with the water, forming carbonic acid, which gives Coke its subtle tang and helps balance the sweetness. That bite you feel at the back of your throat when you take a sip, that's carbonation doing its work. When the carbonation stage is complete, the Coke is alive. In the tanks, it looks calm and still, but the fizz is hiding, trapped, and waiting for its big moment. Every single bubble is a tiny burst of refreshment waiting to escape. From here, the drink moves through chilled, pressurized pipelines straight to the filling machines. It must stay cold, it must stay under pressure, and it must move fast because any delay means the bubbles start escaping. And in the Coca-Cola world, every bubble counts. Standing here, you realize something. These bubbles are more than just fizz. They're the sound of summer afternoons, the sparkle of celebrations, the quick ah after a long day. They're the tiny, joyful moments bottled into every Coke. And now, with carbonation complete, the drink is ready for its final transformation, from industrial tanks to the bottles and cans we all know. The next stop, the high-speed world of filling and packaging. Hold on. Things are about to move very, very fast. The Coke you know is now fully formed. Sweet, fizzy, ice cold, and ready to meet the world. The next challenge? Getting it into bottles and cans at lightning speed, without losing a single drop or bubble. This is where the filling hall comes in. Step inside and it's like walking into the heartbeat of the factory. The air is cooler, the sound is constant, and the entire space is alive with motion. Conveyor belts glide like steel rivers carrying empty bottles and cans that shine under the bright factory lights. The smell is clean, almost metallic, with the occasional sweet hint of Coke escaping into the air. Before a single drop of Coca-Cola touches a bottle, that bottle has to be spotless. Hygiene here is non-negotiable. Thousands of empty bottles travel through an automated washing line, a tunnel of hot water jets, sterilizing steam, and air dryers. Any speck of dust, any microscopic particle is removed. The bottles emerge crystal clear, ready for the liquid gold. From here, they enter the filling carousel, a massive circular machine that looks almost like a futuristic ride. This is the star of the show. The Coke base is piped in directly from the carbonation tanks, still under pressure, still ice cold. Special nozzles fill each bottle or can in a fraction of a second, keeping the fizz locked inside. And the speed? It's mind-blowing. Depending on the plant, these machines can fill up to 2,000 bottles per minute. Stand too close and your eyes can't keep up. You just see a blur of silver cans and glass bottles spinning past. The precision is surgical. No spills, no foam overflow. Every fill level exactly the same. The moment the bottle is filled, it's capped or sealed instantly. Caps drop into place with a satisfying click, and cans get their aluminum tops pressed on with a solid thunk. This is done in one continuous movement, because if even a few seconds pass before sealing, the fizz could start escaping. Once sealed, each bottle and can gets its Coca-Cola label. For glass and plastic bottles, labels are heat shrunk or glued with exact alignment. No wrinkles, no crooked logos. For cans, the designs are pre-printed with vibrant colors that have to survive cold storage, shipping, and handling without fading. Then comes quality control, and it's relentless. Random bottles are pulled off the line for inspection. Workers check carbonation levels, fill height, cap tightness, and label placement. If a batch doesn't meet the microscopic standards, it doesn't leave the factory. Sometimes they'll even send hundreds of bottles back to be emptied, cleaned, and refilled. Waste is a loss, but inconsistency is worse. Finally, the packaging lines bring it all together. Bottles clink into groups, cans line up in perfect grids, and automated arms wrap them in plastic film or slide them into cardboard cases. Forklifts move finished pallets into the warehouse, stacking them high like towers of celebration waiting to happen. Standing here, you realize something. This is the moment where Coca-Cola transforms from a factory product into your Coke. In minutes, it will be loaded onto trucks, driven to stores, and placed in fridges around the world. The next time you grab a bottle, you're holding the result of thousands of moving parts working in perfect synchronization. And yet, the journey's not over. There's one final chapter: how this drink leaves the factory and travels across the globe, always tasting exactly the same, no matter where you open it. The Coca-Cola bottles and cans are now packaged, stacked high, and waiting in the warehouse. A shimmering sea of red, silver, and glass. This is the final act of their journey inside the factory. Now it's time for them to leave home and take their place on the world stage. The distribution center is massive. Rows upon rows of pallets, each holding hundreds of bottles, stretch as far as the eye can see. Giant forklifts glide between the aisles, lifting stacks that weigh more than a small car. Every movement is choreographed, every destination planned. Coca-Cola doesn't just deliver drinks, it delivers a promise that every Coke you open will taste exactly the same, whether it's in New York, Nairobi, or New Delhi. Each truck is loaded with military precision. Routes are optimized using advanced logistics systems that calculate the fastest, most efficient path to each store, vending machine, and restaurant. Some trucks stay local, supplying nearby supermarkets and cafes. Others head to ports or airports where containers of Coca-Cola will cross oceans and continents. Temperature control is crucial. In hotter climates, insulated trucks or refrigerated storage prevent the Coke from heating up and losing quality. Even in transit, that signature fizz and flavor are guarded like treasure. What's truly fascinating is the global consistency. Factories on different continents follow the same strict recipes, water purification standards, and carbonation techniques. Coca-Cola scientists and quality managers travel constantly, sampling products from different regions to ensure perfect uniformity. Every shipment of Coca-Cola is also carrying memories waiting to happen. A Coke at a backyard barbecue in Texas, a cold can at a beach in Greece, a glass bottle shared between friends on a street corner in Cairo. This isn't just a drink, it's a silent guest at millions of moments, celebrations, and small personal rituals around the globe. Back at the factory, the cycle never stops. As one batch leaves, another is already being mixed, carbonated, bottled, and prepared for its journey. The hum of machinery, the clink of bottles, the soft hiss of CO2, it's the soundtrack of a global icon in motion. So next time you twist off a cap or crack open a can, take a second. Behind that simple psst is an epic journey, from secret recipes and chilled carbonation tanks, through roaring filling machines, onto trucks, ships, and planes, until it lands right in your hand. That's not just Coke, it's a story in every sip. If you enjoyed this behind-the-scenes journey into the making of Coca-Cola, hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and share it with a fellow Coke fan. This is just one story in a world full of fascinating processes, and we've got plenty more to uncover together. Stay tuned, because next time, we might just take you inside another global icon.